In this video, we're going to continue looking at domain registration and hosting. This time round, we're going to look at setting up a new website host from scratch with a new domain. If you've got a web host that you're happy with, that's great, stick with it. This video is more for people who don't have a web host or have one that they're not happy with and want to look at something else. Now, there are a lot of web hosting choices out there and they vary a great deal in quality. Unfortunately, there are an awful lot of substandard web hosts out there. And this does include some of the best known names out there like GoDaddy and HostGator. I've personally had bad experiences with both of those, but I know other people are happy with them. It does vary. You can have a bad experience with a host and end up not wanting to ever use them again. Currently, I actually use 5 different web hosting platforms or companies with different partners on different projects. And this is one of those hosts, which is why I'm recommending it. So let's go and have a look at the site that I'm talking about. It's called ionos.com. It used to be one-on-one hosting. They're now rebranded as Ionos. And whilst they offer a few different packages, the one we want to go with is the web hosting one, not the WordPress hosting one over here. If you go with that, you'll end up being stuck with just one site. Their basic WordPress hosting option is actually more limited than the web hosting option, which does allow you to install WordPress. So that's what we're going to go with. Let's click on Get Started here. This is the main landing page on Ionos. So just find that and click on it. And if we scroll down, we like this particular host for a number of reasons. It does include the speed. They are a fast host and they also have very reasonable pricing when we get there. Here we go. The package that we'd recommend going with is this one in the middle. It's called the business package and you get basically unlimited websites, unlimited storage and unlimited databases. The lower one, the essential, you only get one website and 10 gigabyte of storage. Now this isn't an amazing package because this will be a shared resource, but it's a great way of getting up and running. It's a great package for your first site and allows you to add extra sites. So as you set up products or other review sites or other niche sites, you can add them to this hosting without any extra cost. So to get up and running, this is why we recommend this particular package. And the cost is pretty easy on the budget. It's $1 a month for the first 12 months. So basically you're looking at $12 for the first year. But here's the thing, if you sign up for a full year, then you get a domain included as well for a year. So yeah, if you sign up for a full year, you can get a .com or a .net or .org, whatever, go for a .com. The point here basically is a domain will cost you $9 or $10 to register. This way, the hosting is effectively costing you $3 for your first year. Yes, it's $10 a month after that, but by that point, a year in, you should be earning so much money that $10 for your web hosting is nothing. You're probably going to want to upgrade your web hosting to a better server before then anyway, okay? This is just to get you up and running and get you going. So 12 months costs $12 and you get a domain thrown in for free as well. That's why we recommend this. It's as cheap as we found for a decent quality host. Okay, so let's choose this one and continue through the process of setting up our hosting. Now, at this point, we get to choose our domain name. And this is the domain that we're effectively going to get for free thrown in with our hosting. Now, if you've gone through week 1 and week 2 of the weekly lessons, you should already have a list of potential domain names such as yourname.com, Your Name Marketing, Your Name Publishing, Your Name Reviews, Your Name Online, or Your Name Blog that you're going to look for. Basically, all you need to do is go through those in the order of preference and check them one by one to see what's available. Now for me, I've already got myname.com, so that's not what I'm going to register. You should, but I'm going to register something else. I'm actually going to go with Mat1 Hosting because I'll probably end up using it as a site to recommend this hosting. So let's click on check. You likewise click on check on yourname.com or marketing, etc. Once you've found the one that is available that you like, simply click on add to cart and that will be added to our cart and we can then click on continue to go to the next stage of the sign up process, which is basically a series of upsells, extra options that we can buy if we want to or add to our hosting. I don't think you need any of these. Have a look through them. If you want to add them, feel free to do so. but I'm going to simply click on continue without adding any of them. Now this next page is basically confirmation of the contract duration, and it is only cost effective if you leave it at 12 months. Remember, for 12 months, you're paying $12 and getting a free domain. If you swap it to paying monthly, you get the first month at $1 and then it goes straight on to $10 a month and you don't get a free domain. Okay, so it's really not worth doing it if you're going to do it that way. Stick with the 12 months. They do also then throw some extra upsells at you. You can add more domains if you want to, but you also got some more options down here for Ranking Coach Essential and Managed WordPress. Again, they're upsells that you don't need. Just simply scroll down to the bottom and click on continue, go through to the next page. And this is where we need to create a new account with them. So I'm going to click on create new account. And when it comes up, I'm going to go through and fill in all my personal details here. So I'm just going to skip this in the video because you don't need to know my private information, and I'll come back once I've filled this in and gone on to the next page. Okay, so once you've finished going through the payment process, account setup, etc., you'll end up on the thank you for your order page. Obviously, you will need to put in some sort of payment details, whether it's PayPal or credit card, as well as your name and address, and confirm. This particular web host will want you to use a text message with a real telephone number to confirm your account. So do make sure that you've got a mobile phone with your mobile number to hand when you're actually going through setting it up. When you get to this last stage, this option here, get started, the icon here will be spinning until such time as you click on the print icon here and print a copy of your invoice, or at least open it up as a PDF and save it. So do that first, then you'll be able to click on the get started button here and log into your account and start working with your domain. And this is our logged in control panel. Now do bear in mind that this is setting up a new host, a new web host server. So it can take a while to actually get it all set up and for it to appear in your control panel. So for instance, at the moment, if I click on hosting, it says locked. If I click on it and we scroll through, you'll see your contract is being created by the system, and it may take up to 48 hours. Okay, usually doesn't, but it could take that long. So once you've gone through the process of actually signing up and paying, do be patient while the system goes ahead and gets all your new web hosting set up for you. And you should in due course get a confirmation email from them with all your login details and hosting information. Okay, so we're back after a little time has passed and my new hosting is now fully set up. You can see the lock message has gone from both web stores and the hosting itself. Now the first thing we're going to do is look at the domains and SSL option here. Now I've actually got this opened up in a separate page, and if I scroll down a bit, you'll notice that I've actually got a couple of extra domains in here, specifically anab.com and micros.net. Now these are external domains not registered through IONOS that I've added to this hosting, so I can use those websites on this hosting as well. So what I want to do first of all is show you how to actually do that in case the free domain that you registered isn't the one that you want to use for your WordPress blog, in which case you're going to need to set up an external domain, which is this link down here. So we'll simply right click on that and open it in a new tab. Obviously you could also just click on the link itself. I right click and open it in a new tab so that I can go back to the page I was on previously very easily. Okay, so the external domain that we're going to add in this case is nettips.net, just one of my many domains that I'm not using at the moment, so I'm going to set this up again as a new site on this hosting. So let's click start setup, and I'm going to go with using the IONOS name servers. So we'll just tick the button here next to IONOS name server and click on confirm selection. Then it's going to give me some name servers which I need to apply to this domain. Now obviously the domain itself, this one isn't registered with IONOS, so I will need to go to the register that I have this particular domain on and add these name servers in as the new name servers for this domain. Now if you're not sure exactly how to do that with your domain registrar, then either go back to the previous workshop video in the series where I showed you how to change the name servers on my domain registrar Namecheap, or get in touch with your domain registrar. They should have a help file or video showing you how to do it, or just go to YouTube and search for change name servers and the name of your domain registrar. It is quite a simple thing to do. I can appreciate it. It can be seem intimidating the first 2 or 3 times you do it, once you get used to it, it is just pasting these different settings into the right field in your registrar, and it is very quick and easy. That will then update so that our domain is then pointing at our hosting. Once you've done it and saved those settings, you can then click on Use Domain here, and it will take you through to a status check page where you can actually check to see if the name servers have propagated across the internet, and you can actually use your new domain. Basically, once it has completed, that new domain will appear in the list of your domains in your control panel here. So that's how you can use other domains not registered through Ionos, registered elsewhere with your Ionos hosting, and it is this option down here, Set Up External Domain. Now we're almost ready to install WordPress on the domain, but before we do that, there's one more thing I want to do. If you click on the domain name link here, you'll end up on a page that looks like this for your domain. And what we want to do is apply an SSL, or activate an SSL encryption certificate for this particular domain. That gives it that green padlock that is very important in your web browser. It has been shown that you get better conversions and people trust your site more if you have that HTTPS web address switched on and you have the green padlock in the actual web browser address as well. So let's get that done. So what we're going to do is click on Activate SSL Encryption and bring up the next page. And when it comes up, we simply click on Set Up SSL Certificate. And we have 3 options, 2 of which are paid, but we get a free SSL included. So we're going to click on Activate Now down here, enter the domain, which is from the drop-down list, anab.com. And we're going to use it with my one-on-one Ionos website. And all I'm going to do is tick the box, say I've read the terms, and click on Set Up SSL Certificate again. It should take just a moment or two. Now it can take 10 or 20 seconds to run through the setup, but it just does it for you. So once it's finished, it will come up with this message saying operation successfully completed. Click on OK, and if we now go back to our domains page, you'll see that we now have a green padlock next to anab.com. So that now has the HTTPS and the SSL encryption certified on that site. Okay, so let's get WordPress installed. Now, if you click on the Use Your Domain link here, you will end up on this page. And what we want to do is click on the link for Create a Website. So let's click on this, and it will take us through to a choice of website building options. WordPress is the one that we want. They do have quite a good drag and drop website builder. They've also got Joomla, Typo3, and a whole variety of other apps, such as the ones that you get in Fantastico or Soft Delicious, that sort of thing. But the one that we're interested in is WordPress. So we're going to click on Get Started and go through to the first setup page. And the first thing it's asking us for is a website title. Pop something in that is relevant to your website. It is something we can edit at a later stage if we need to. So click on Create a Website, and we'll go through to the next page. We need to put in a administrator's login ID. Usually it's your name or something like that. The most important thing is do not use admin. If you just use admin, for instance, that part there, that's what hackers will normally target when they're trying to get into your blog. So it makes it easier for them to target your blog. So do not use just admin. Use your name and admin, something like that. Then you want a password, and you need to make sure it is a fairly reasonable password. Make it quite strong. The stronger the better. WordPress sites are constantly under attack from hackers, so it is worth having a good password in there. And make sure you've made a note of that password so you know what it is. Pop it in a text pad, write it down somewhere so that you've got it. Get a password manager, something like that. You don't want to lose that because you can recover it, but it's a fuss. So make sure you've got it. And then obviously choose your language if it's different to English, and tick the box for I've read and accept the terms of use. Click on continue, and this is where we get another upsell effectively. If you've got the money and you don't want the hassles of looking after WordPress yourself and you want someone else to look after it for you, then feel free to go to the managed WordPress option. They do charge for it. I'm not sure how much, I've not looked, because you don't really need it. If you go for the standard WordPress installation, the standard version, you can manage WordPress very easily yourself. It's not a biggie. They are just trying to make a little bit of extra cash, fair enough. Okay, so let's just click on continue with WordPress and go through to the next page. That should only take 10-20 seconds at the most to finish actually setting up the WordPress. It does that in the background for you. Once it's finished, it will come up with a message saying, congratulations, your new website is online. Now you can check that by going to your browser and typing in the domain name followed by /wp-login.php. Now if I pull my browser window down a little bit into this video, you can see here I've got my domain name followed by /wp-login.php, and this will bring up the standard WordPress login page where you can pop in your password and your username that you remembered, made a note of, and then log in to your WordPress admin dashboard. Now we're going to cover that using WordPress, setting up WordPress, tweaking WordPress in a further video. We're also going to cover setting up an email to use with your domain in an upcoming video as well. Okay, so that's Ionos Hosting. Good host, simple to use, great for using with WordPress, and very cheap. So one of our recommendations, top recommendations for hosting. Thank you very much for watching, and please feel free to move on to the next video.